Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. If you search the word Chris Musando on this channel, you will come across several videos. And most of those videos were actually dedicated to the former ICT manager of IEBC. And as Kenyans were going to the polls in August, on August 9th, personally, I never imagined that another IEBC officer would lose his life. But Daniel Musyoka paid the ultimate price. I want us to look at the elimination of Daniel Musyoka, because the government pathologist, Dorothy Njeru, conducted the procedure, 4-hour procedure on the late Musyoka. But still, she could not ascertain the cause of death, because the guys who did the work were professionals. There was no physical injury on Musyoka. Musyoka conducted the elections in Embakasi East. And after conducting the elections were conducted on the 9th. On 10th, Kenyans expected results. On 11th, then the guy disappeared on the 12th. He disappeared. According to sources, this gentleman excused himself from the tallying center. The tallying center was actually at East African School of Aviation in Embakasi East. He excused himself around 9:40 a.m. He left. He was never seen again. This is what Wafula Chebukati posted about the disappearance of Musyoka. Let me just get Chebukati, what Chebukati posted about Musyoka. But after leaving to make that phone call, he disappeared. The investigative agencies in this country are currently trying all they can to look for the killers of Musyoka. This is what Wafula Chebukati posted about the murder of Daniel Musyoka. Now, this is what he's saying. Murder of returning officer for Embakasi East constituency, Mr. Daniel Musyoka. The commission is saddened by the murder of its returning officer for Embakasi East constituency, Mr. Daniel Musyoka, and expresses its deepest condolences to the family and friends. The commission condemns the murder of Mr. Musyoka, who went missing on 11th August 2022, and his body found at Loitoktok in Kajiado County on 15th August 2022. Mr. Musyoka, just like the late ICT manager, Chris Musando, was murdered while on duty. This was a well-trained officer who performed his duty with utmost honesty, integrity, and dedication. It is unfortunate that his stand to do the right thing cost him his life. As the commission condoles with the family of Mr. Musyoka, we call on security agencies to speedily investigate and apprehend his killers. The commission assures the family that it will journey with them as they make plans to lay him to rest. Now, based on what Wafula Chebukati is suggesting here, is that Mr. Musyoka was eliminated because of his stand on delivering free, fair, and credible elections. He disappeared on 11th. So he was making a phone call. He excused himself to make a phone call. Then he disappeared. Days later, his body was found at Kilombero Forest in Kajiado, 200 kilometers away from where he was picked from. 200 kilometers. You know, you disappear today, then you are found 200 kilometers away. The issue of Musyoka, Kenya started racing just the very, very day he disappeared. Then he was found, according to Wafula Chebukati, because that's the official. I'm using Wafula Chebukati's statement because it's the official. He was found on 15th, 4 good days later, in a forest, and his body was stark naked. Yani bathsuit, he was naked completely, but his tracksuit and Masai Suka, which was using on that day, was also found around that place. You know, it was put just next to some river, or you can call it a stream there. And the locals there say that most people who are normally assassinated or eliminated are normally dropped there. So there are several questions which are not adding up. The police are investigating, and according to their investigations, for example, they have managed to get access to some CCTV. According to the CCTVs they have received, is that this guy could be seen. Some are saying he could be seen talking on a phone call, but nobody followed him. He was just seen walking up to a certain bus stop. At some point, though, he was seen talking to some motorbike guy and a passenger on the motorbike. But the fact is now that this guy is dead. He will be buried. And according to the friend he was staying with, he was using his phone, the friend's phone actually. On that morning, he asked the friend to help him with his phone. Then he used that phone to call the driver. The driver came, picked him. He went to the tallying center. That was at 8 a.m. He went to the tallying center. That's where he was called from around 9:40 a.m. And there are several questions which I think should be asked. The first question is, who called Musyoka? That is what Kenyans should demand for. Because this guy was performing his duty, then he received a phone call. And this phone call, he was on a Kabambe. Because his phone was somewhere in the office. He was in the office, he received a phone call, he left to pick the call. The other phone was left in office. He called. So who was he talking to? I'm sure if the government of Kenya is serious, then they should be able to tell us that person he was calling or he was talking to. Remember, up to this stage, nobody knows who killed Chris Musando. Nobody. Up to this stage. Chris Musando was eliminated. His story ended just like that. Nobody's talking about Chris Musando as at now. I don't want to believe that the person who called Musyoka would not be found. The other interesting question is who switched on his phone. Because according to the investigative agencies, this guy was using some Kabambe phone. Initially, they believed that probably the guy was not using his phone, but was using app, either WhatsApp or something to talk to people. But apparently, he was using some Kabambe phone. So his main phone was switched off between 9:40 to 9:50. The phone was off. Then at 9:50, it was on again. What happened during that time? Something must be very clear on where his phone was. Because this guy was found 200 kilometers away and the body was still fresh. You know, if you've dealt with bodies or you've handled someone who is dead, you should be able to know that it takes like just one day. The next day, the body is something else. But this guy, they found the body when it was still fresh. after 200-kilometer journey. Question is, one, who used that phone between 9:40 and 9:50? The other question, which is also important, is who is the likely beneficiary of this murder? You know, this guy was supposed to announce results. He had announced the presidential results. He was set to announce the MP and the county assembly results. That's the truth. MP and MCA. So the investigative agencies should focus on those three seats: the parliamentary seat, the county assembly seat, and the presidential. Presidential, we are talking of William Ruto and Raila Odinga. Who was likely to benefit? Okay. In Embakasi East, Babu Wino's opponent accused Babu. And Babu responded that why would he eliminate someone who was opposed to announcing? Because if you look at the difference between Babu Wino and Murithi, I don't think Babu Wino would be a fool to do that. The only person who would do this is the person who lost. And maybe this guy was being forced to announce someone else. And I was reading something very interesting on Wafula Buke's post, where someone was suggesting that there were pressure. Some people wanted him to to declare Murithi as the winner. So that is the second question: who is the biggest beneficiary? So all these people should be investigated. The other question is, why was this gentleman allowed to move freely? You know, I'm not understanding a case where elections were conducted on the 9th, results started trickling in on 10th, on 11th, results were being announced. Why was the Embakasi East constituency results not announced by that time? And why was he still working freely? Normally, the aspirants would be on the neck of these guys. They would want to know the results. Where are the results? But this guy was allowed to walk freely just because he's going to pick a phone call. The last question is, were there any money transfer to either his bank account, his mobile numbers, or any of his family members received any of the money on his behalf? Because if it's political that someone wanted him to declare him, then probably he must have been given money. And if he was given money, how much? So the investigative agencies must move very fast and do an audit on his accounts, whether he received some money, and if he received some money, from who, and what was the purpose of that money. I think those are some of the questions which we need to ask. But to the family of the late Musyoka, take heart. The guy's tears will not go in vain. It will not go in vain. So thank you guys, and please, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye. By the way, the live stream will be tomorrow, Saturday, Kenyan time, 8 or 7:30 in the evening. Thank you.